Hello, this presentation is for basic word structure. Studying medical terminology is very similar to learning a new language. It is important to understand a few fundamentals of medical terminology constructed as a language. Medical terminology is based mainly on Greek and Latin words. It is consistent and uniform throughout the world. Medical terminology is a specialized language used in the healthcare ecosystem. I'm sure you may be already familiar with a few medical terms. This course is not just for freshers, but also for the ones familiar with medical terms, and will surely be a refresher course. Medical terminology is easy to learn when you understand how the elements are combined to form a word. To develop medical vocabulary, you must understand the elements or parts that form medical words. The four elements that are used to build the medical word are word root, combining form, suffix, and prefix. Learning medical terminology is to understand how to divide words into their component parts. The foundation and fundamental unit of each medical word is the root. All medical words have at least one word root. It establishes the basic meaning of the word and is the part to which modifying word parts are added. Example, multi. The meaning is many, and the word examples are multilingual and multiple. Word root as micro. The meaning is small. The word examples are microbiology and microscope. Similarly, word root as bio. The meaning is life, and the word examples are biology and biography. Let us look at a medical word example, myocarditis. Here the prefix is myo, which is muscle. The root word is card or cardi, which is heart, and the suffix is itis, which is inflammation. A word root, also called a root, may be used alone or combined with other elements to form another word with a different meaning. Understanding the meaning of common roots can help you work out the meanings of new words as you encounter them. Before we start learning specific medical terms for various systems of the body, we need to know word roots that identify major organs in the body. It is important to understand each of the medical root words to be able to further break down the medical term and understand the meaning easily without much effort. Let us look at a couple of body organs examples with their medical root words, medical term example, and we'll also try to get you an understanding on the word description of the medical terms. The body organ mouth, the medical root word is oro and stomat. The medical term examples are, example is stomatitis. Stomatitis is inflammation of the inside of the mouth. Body organ teeth, the medical root word is dent, and the medical term example is dentist. A dentist is a doctor who specializes in teeth, gums, and the mouth. Body organ tongue, the medical root word is gloss and lingo. The medical term examples are glossitis and lingual nerve or lingual. Glossitis is inflammation of the tongue. Lingual is pertaining to the tongue, and lingual nerve is the nerve that is pertaining to the tongue. Body organ gums, the medical root word is gingiv, and the medical term example is gingivitis. Gingivitis is gum disease with inflammation of the gums. Next, body organ nose, the medical root word is ryan. The medical term example is rhinitis, which is also called as runny nose. The word description is rhinitis, that is irritation or inflammation of the nose. Body organ brain. The medical root word is encephal. The medical term example is encephalitis. Encephalitis is inflammation of the brain, which could be caused by a bacterium or a virus or an allergic reaction. Next, breast. The medical root word is mast and mam. The medical term example is mammography and mastectomy. Suffix ectomy is surgical removal of a specified part of the body, and yeah, the mammography is a technique using X-rays to diagnose and locate tumors of the breast. And mastectomy is the medical term for surgical removal of one or both breast, partially or completely. Body organ heart. The medical root word is cardi. Word example is electrocardiogram. Suffix gram is to record in the form of a picture. And electrocardiogram is a recording of the electrical activity of the heart, usually abbreviated as ECG and EKG. Body organ lungs. The medical root word is neem and pulm. The medical term examples are pneumonitis and pulmonologist. Pneumonitis is inflammation of the lungs, and suffix logist means specialist. So, pulmonologist is a specialist in the respiratory system and the ones who treat breathing related condition. Next, body organ stomach. The medical root word is gastr. The term example is gastritis. Gastritis is inflammation of the stomach. Next, intestine. The medical root word is enter. And here to point to remember is usually when we refer to the term enter, it is small intestine. The medical term example is gastroenteritis, which is inflammation of the stomach and intestines. Large intestine, the medical root word is colo or col, and the medical term example is colitis and megacolon. Colitis is inflammation of the colon, which is large intestine, and megacolon is an abnormally enlarged colon. Next, body organ liver. The medical root word is hepat. The term examples are hepatitis and hepatomegaly. Hepatitis is inflammation of the liver, irrespective of the cause. Hepatitis is caused by a number of conditions, including drug toxicity, immune diseases, and viruses. Suffix megaly means enlargement. Hepatomegaly is an abnormally enlarged liver. Hepatomegaly can be caused by heart failure, blockage of the blood vessels from the liver, or be a sign of a chronic liver disease. Next body organ we can look at is kidney. The medical root word is nephr and rene. The medical term examples are nephrosis and renal artery. Suffix osis is disease process or condition. Nephrosis is any degenerative disease of the kidney tubules, the tiny canals that make up much of the substance of the kidney. Nephrosis can be caused by kidney disease, or it may be a complication of another disorder, particularly diabetes. And yeah, renal arteries are the ones that carry blood from the heart to the kidneys. Next, rectum and anus. The medical root word is proct. The word example is proctitis. Proctitis is inflammation of the rectum. And proctologist is a doctor specializing in diseases of the rectum and anus. Next, the body organ is testis. The medical root word is orchid. The term examples we can consider are orchiditis and orchidectomy. Orchiditis is inflammation of the testis. Orchidectomy is a surgical procedure in which one or both testicles are removed. Next, we can look at body organ ovary. The medical root word is oofer, and the word example is oophorectomy. Oophorectomy is surgical removal of one or both ovaries, also called as ovariectomy. Next, uterus. The medical root word is hyster. The term example we can look at is hysterectomy. A hysterectomy is an operation to remove a woman's uterus. A woman may have a hysterectomy for different reasons, including uterine fibroids that cause pain, bleeding, and or other problems. Next, uterine tubes. The medical root word is salping, and the term example we can look at is hysterosalpingogram. A hysterosalpingogram, or usually referred to as HSG, is an X-ray procedure used to see whether the fallopian tubes are patent, that is open, and if the inside of the uterus or the uterine cavity is normal. Next, bladder. The medical root word is cyst, and the term example we can look at is cystitis, which is inflammation of the bladder. Next, body organ skin. The medical root word is derm. The term example we can look at is dermatitis, which is, dermatitis is the inflammation of the skin. It is the medical condition in which the skin becomes red, swollen, and sore, sometimes with small blisters resulting from direct irritation of the skin by an external agent or an allergic reaction to it. Next, body organ bones. The root word is osteo. The examples we can look at are osteoarthritis and osteoporosis, as commonly heard. Osteoarthritis is inflammation of the bones and joints. Similarly, osteoporosis is thinning of the bones with reduction in the bone mass due to depletion of the calcium and bone protein. Osteoporosis predisposes a person to fractures, which are often slow to heal and heal poorly. Next, blood. The medical root word is heme, and there's also a suffix known as emia. The word examples are hematologist and anemia. Hematologist is a physician who specializes in diagnosing and treating diseases of the blood. Anemia is the condition of having lower than normal or lower than normal red blood cells or the quantity of hemoglobin. Anemia diminishes the capacity of the blood to carry oxygen. Patients with anemia may feel tired, fatigued easily, and appear pale, and also develop palpitations and become short of breath. Veins. The medical root word is phlebo and veno, or phleb and vene. The term examples we can consider are phlebitis and phlebotomy. Phlebitis is the inflammation of the vein. Phlebotomy is the process of making a puncture in the vein with a cannula for the purpose of drawing blood from the patient's arm typically. Next, we will try to look at the medical or the parts of the word as previously discussed. A prefix is a word elements located at the beginning of the word. A prefix is a short word added before the word or word root to modify its meaning. Substituting one prefix for another prefix changes the meaning of the word. A prefix usually indicates a number, time, position, or negation. Uh, to note here, the heart is made of three layers of tissues known as epicardium, myocardium, and endocardium. We will try to look at a prefix example for your reference. We will try to retain the term, the root word and the suffix as carditis in all of the three examples, and we would only change the start of the word, uh, changing the prefixes, and the meaning, word meaning changes. The examples we can consider are myocarditis, which is a muscle layer of the heart that is inflamed, and pericarditis, that is outer layer of the heart that is inflamed, and endocarditis, that is inner layer of the heart that is inflamed. Many prefixes found in medical terminology are also found in English language. Next, we will look at suffix. A suffix is a word element located at the end of the word. A suffix is a short word part or a series of parts added at the end of the root to modify its meaning. Substituting one suffix for another suffix changes the meaning of the word. In medical terminology, a suffix usually indicates a procedure, condition, disease, or part of the speech. We will try to look at a couple of examples for suffix. We will retain the root word cardi, that is heart, in all of the three examples, and we would only change the word endings, that is suffix. Examples are cardiologist, which is a physician specializing in the heart. Next example is cardiomyopathy, which is damage to the heart muscle layer. And the third word example we can look at is cardiomegaly, which is enlargement of the heart. In medical terminology, a suffix usually describes a pathology, that is disease or abnormality, symptom, surgical or diagnostic procedure, or part of a speech. Next, we will try to look at combining vowel, and this is usually O that links the root to the suffix or the root to another root. A combining vowel has no meaning on its own, it joins one word part to another. It is useful to read the meaning of the medical term starting from the suffix and then going back to the beginning of the term. Let us look at a word example, cardiology. As we have learnt, root is the foundation of the word. Example, root word cardi means heart, and suffix is the word ending, and suffix logy means process of study. From the above example, the term cardiology means study of the heart. Let us look at another example. Gastroenterology. The root word gastr means stomach. The root enter means intestines. The suffix logy means process of study. The entire term means collectively process of study of stomach and intestines. In addition to the prefix, root, combining vowel, and suffix, other word parts commonly found in the medical terms is the combining form. The combining form is simply the root plus combining vowel. As an example, gastro means stomach, that is root word plus combining vowel is equal to combining form. Combining forms are used with many different suffixes. Remembering the meaning of combining form will help you understand different medical terms. Few more examples. Hypogastric and epigastric. Hypogastric means below the stomach, and epigastric means pertaining to above the stomach. In summary, it is the important elements of medical terms are the following: prefix, that is word beginning; root, which is the foundation of the term; suffix, which is the word ending; combining vowel, which is usually O, that links the root to the suffix or the root to another root. The fifth one that we could kind of look at is combining form, which is combination of the root and the combining vowel. Let us look at a few more examples. The vowel has no meaning on its own, but enables two elements to be connected to each other. Now, instead of joining two elements from this below example, chem and therapy directly, the combining vowel O is attached to the root to form the word chemotherapy. As you could see, the word root chem as a root word and suffix as therapy becomes chemotherapy. Similarly, arth as a root word and suffix scopy becomes arthroscopy. Root word dermat and suffix logy becomes dermatology. Now, although you may not know the meaning of all the words in this unit, you may have already started to learn the word building system by identifying the basic elements of or part of medical words. The word in the previous slides are easier to pronounce because the word roots are linked to the combining vowel O. To make the word easier to pronounce, attach a combining vowel to the word roots. Understanding the word building system will help you decipher the meaning of the medical terms. Using the word building system to identify basic elements of medical word will help you learn medical terminology. There are three important rules to word building. Rule number one is a root links suffix that begin with a vowel, and a combining form root plus a combining form O links a suffix that begins with a consonant. This is very important to remember. And the third rule is a combining form root plus O links the root to another root to form a compound word. This rule holds true even if the next root begins with a vowel. Let's try to look at a couple of examples in this context. Examples of the roots with suffix which begin with a vowel, such as word root tonsil and suffix itis. And in these three examples that we are looking at, if you could observe, the suffix are already starting with a vowel which is either I, E, and I in this context. Now, tonsillectomy becomes tonsils as a word root and suffix as itis becomes tonsillitis. There is no combining form O here because the suffix itis is starting with a vowel already. Similarly, gastro as root word and suffix ectomy becomes gastrectomy. And the third example is arthr as root word and suffix itis becomes arthritis. There is no combining form O here. And similarly, example of roots with suffix which begin with consonants are sclera, scler, and as a root word, and suffix derma. Now it becomes scleroderma because the suffix derma is a consonant. It's starting with a consonant. So the medical term would become scleroderma. Similarly, another example, mast as a root word and suffix as dynia becomes mastodynia. And we will look at the meanings of all of these terms together in the next upcoming sessions anyway. This is just for your understanding on where to use a combining form o, and when not necessary to differentiate. Next, medical root word as arthr and suffix plasty. In this context as well, the suffix is starting with a consonant. So we need to include a combining form o. So the word becomes arthroplasty. Hope this was an informative session. Uh, you will be able to learn further in the next upcoming sessions, and we will be looking at a lot more examples of the medical root words, prefixes, suffixes, and also some of the major body systems. Thank you.